Ready to learn about how to write good user stories? User stories are a description of a new value needed by a user. Make sure your stories tell a compelling story about the value to your customers. The story should focus on the who, what, and why, not the how. Here are a few tips for writing a good user story. Always put yourself in the mind of your customer and the value they will get. An okay user story might say, "Because it's what I expect as a customer, I want the system to be stable." This tells very little about the customer. Even better would be, "Because my employees work all hours in different time zones and around the clock, I want the system to be stable." This tells about what the customer will get out of the stability and why. Another element of a good user story is clarity around the who and around the people using this functionality. It is worth spending time creating rich personas that help the team understand their various users and priorities they would have for a given story. User stories need to focus on the what and not the how. A good user story might be, "As a user, I want the software to have a customized view button that when clicked maintains my preferred view." Even better, "As a user, I want the software to maintain my view setup with one click of a button to make my job faster." Keep it succinct. Don't make a story too long. It is important to have a story that leads to a conversation. Put in just enough details. Every story needs acceptance criteria, but every story's acceptance criteria may be different. Let's look at some examples of acceptance criteria that may work for different kinds of stories. If your feature or value includes complex mathematical equations, include a solid explanation of what data points are needed or expected in your story. The developers will need this information. Sometimes extra details are necessary. The best idea is to write whatever is necessary to communicate as well as you can. Sometimes that means detailed acceptance criteria and following specific guidelines, and sometimes it is simple and straightforward and doesn't require as much detail. The important part is knowing how to clearly communicate what is needed for that feature or value being added to the software.